Hamana, whoa. This is Radio KAoS, reporting to you live 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day for your listening pleasure. 555 kilocycles at 10,000 watts. Hello, friends. It's Cody Bosch. Who else would it be, right? The one-man army of Oz. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. So, I haven't done anything for Radio KAoS in a long time because I've just been laying around, living on the dole, getting fat, surfing the social media and flaming everyone, that sort of thing. But actually, I have been super busy. This week, I am pouring a sidewalk / wheelchair / walker ramp for a lady in her 80s who fell and broke her hip a few weeks ago and just thank God, was able to come back home. So she had this beautiful brickwork that her late husband did. She's a widow, and it was lovely, but unfortunately kind of cattywampus and definitely a hazard. I almost tripped at it a few times last summer when I was looking for her. So just general hazard. And so what I was thinking while I was doing all this, pulling up all these bricks and pounds, countless wheelbarrow loads and so forth, I haven't done a lot with Radio KAoS for a while. I'm still working on the RX Press newsletter that is actually going to be winter more than autumn and so forth. I've also been doing a big move, blah blah blah, wine. But I was thinking the skills that there's a lot of podcasts, there's a lot of things about either like Insta-gay, like look how hot I am, or about people who talk to great people about their success and kind of make a living off of that. See also modern day sophistry, although I definitely respect that. Personally, I wouldn't want to make a living off of people, self-made people who I want to learn from them, but I want to read their books. But I have to say the podcasts are really valuable. I'm on a rabbit trail. Suffice to say, it seems really valuable. People are always asking me things about what plants, simple thing. Well, it's not simple. Botany is a huge thing. But things like, how do you know what plant is what? How do you know what plants go together and so forth? And for me, it's been a lifetime of education, having grown up on a dairy farm with a Martha Stewart, Renaissance woman, grandmother, entrepreneur, who also had like 5 acres of gardens along with our farm. So it started out from square one for me, and I've always done gardening work and gardening jobs, but I definitely spend huge amounts of time studying and learning from the masters about these things. So there's plants, and this week I'm doing my first concrete job by myself, which is, to be honest, really terrifying. Even though I know I can do it, I've always been a lieutenant to somebody, and although I've been my own boss for about 5 years, I feel most comfortable being kind of the buddy to the boss or the lieutenant. But after just realizing that I know more about being a boss and managing people than most of the people I work for at this point, it's been a long apprenticeship, let's say, and eventually you have to fly on your own wings. And concrete, even something as simple as building a sidewalk. I don't know if it takes a high IQ, but it definitely takes a massive, innumerable calculations. So math calculating how much concrete you need and how to even the steps to dozens of steps to pour to get the ground ready for a sidewalk, the what how long concrete takes to dry in cold weather. In 30-degree weather, it takes 20 hours to dry when it's 4 inches thick, which is the average sidewalk thickness, as compared to 5 hours. But I learned things like concrete actually doesn't cure fully for about a year. Of course, it gets hard, within about a day. But there's so many things to consider. And then really the difference between a landscaping solo handyman kind of guy and a company with employees is really the people skills, the interpersonal skills, which really Howard Gardner talked about how separate these intelligence are in his book Multiple Intelligences, about different kinds of intelligence, and interpersonal and interpersonal intelligence are in my opinion one of the most pretty much the most essential types of intelligence, and also, at least in the United States, one of the most lacking. And also they seem to be like interconnected. A strong knowledge of self and self-actualization naturally leads to skills for effectively working with other people, effectively coordinating between a client and subcontractors and the places that deliver the materials, and then the really hard work of being a good boss or being a good manager and trying to do social entrepreneurialism rather than a company that's just out for the dollar, where it's mission and value driven rather than profit driven, which Atlas Design Company has been since day one. So all of this is leading to my thoughts when I'm digging all this dirt and everything, thinking, well, what is a podcast? Because I really do want to keep Radio KAoS going. I don't know how regularly I can do it, but it's pretty handy to be able to be on your after work decompression walk and just kind of record a blibbity blah 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 blah. And I think that kind of the criterion of video blogs is Martin Mullen with his Vinter Gatan blog and the Marble Machine. Like, it just got it all. But I have a banyan tree. Not to say that Martin doesn't have a lot of on his plate, because he's building a machine with 10,000 parts. But so he's got more going on than I do. But I have a lot of different branches and buttresses to my banyan tree, and so I've got a few collaborators, which I prefer to call my employees collaborators, and I really think of them more as that, because in the future, that is how companies are going to be formed, is horizontally rather than vertically. And probably, if society survives, how it will be is more horizontal than vertical. And just the fact of simple things like, most people, when they do this line of work, if they're their company and they won't work for another company even if it's their friend. And to me, it's not about whose name is on the office door, whose company is on the billboard. It's about getting the work done, getting it done economically fair, giving people more for their dollar value than they receive, than they give. So giving them more than they give you in money. And there's a lot of perks that come with working freelance for clients too, that are, of course, the money is nice, but there's extremely valuable. You make memories with your clients. They become like family, especially when you're working with grandparents and so forth. And after 80 years, they really get how to be good to people. So, blogs about plants, podcasts about how-to stuff. It probably isn't anything new, but it's something that's near and dear to my heart, and it's something like every day I'm thinking about different things. Like today I'm thinking about concrete, but I'm also thinking about how lamb's ears and daisies interact with the colors and contrasts of a concrete and the geometry. There's so many things that landscaping and contracting as a philosophy, which is going towards architecture, actually is. And that's what keeps it interesting, is you're doing this work and you're reaping all of that you got from your art practice and your art school education and putting that into effect. So this sidewalk is going to be really beautiful, and it has a lot of curves, so that's more work and a little bit teeny bit more cost, but concrete's not too expensive than just doing it like most contractors would do, not slapdash, but like don't take any risks. So not only doing this, I'm taking a couple risks. Shh, don't tell my client. But it's going to be beautiful. And the work, if you do good work, is also good advertisement. It's kind of the best advertisement. Being nice to your clients, being nice to be doing quality work in a timely manner. So you bust your ass, and you have to be nice no matter how you feel, and also do really quality work. Do good cleanup at the end of every day, come back, over time, check on things, send Christmas cards, remember people's birthday. It's really rewarding. It's like a mission. And I would like people to understand that, because there's so many opportunities to be your own boss. Of course, the client is really the boss, but to have that freedom within this country and to have very fulfilling work. You're not, dun 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 dun, like Charlie Chaplin going through the gears. Like, it's a way to work with the system, but also have freedom and independence. And there's a lot of heavy lifting in the world to be done. There's a lot of amazing things to learn. You couldn't learn it all in 1,000 years. And if you're studying and working, John Ruskin, William Morris, heart and hand, so forth, you feel the heavy lifting. Maybe you don't have to go to the gym that day, and you eat good meals, and you look hot. And there's not enough people right now to do the heavy lifting that needs to be done. But at the same time, there's plenty of people that are willing to pay well for the heavy lifting. So, potentialities, future thoughts. Thanks for listening. Love you. Lisa did my fingernails.